The Midday News is live on Joy 99.7 FM here in Accra and Kumasi. We are on Love 99.5 FM. Affiliates across Ghana's 16 regions. We are on Sun City Radio in Keta, Gangai FM in Jirapa, ATL FM in Cape Coast, Radio Max in Takrade. We are live on X Spaces. We're on Facebook. We're on myjoyonline.com. The Midday News is sponsored by Petrol Sol. Your clean fuel in full quantity. Petrol Sol is always a delightful experience. Also brought to you by Duro Plus Ghana Limited, producers of quality PVC and HDPE pipes and water tank. We are the only water storage tank with a level indicator, and where Dura Plus goes, water flows. This afternoon, there are growing calls for the reversal of a value-added tax imposed on some categories of residential electricity customers. As former President John Mahama argues, the move will only make cost of doing business in Ghana unbearable.
Already there was a 29% increase, there was a 19% increase. Then they tried to fool us with a 4% decrease, and now it's going up again astronomically. And it's making Ghana a very difficult place to do business. All business people are complaining.
Still on power, Joy News is learning the Energy Ministry is yet to reach a final agreement with two independent power producers on the outstanding energy sector debt treatment valued at some $2 billion.
Reached agreement, exchange term sheets with a significant number of IPPs. The remaining two or so still ongoing.
Also in this package, anti-corruption campaigners are demanding an audit of the personal accounts and asset declaration documents of NEIP boss following his arrest by the OSP on allegations of vote buying using state funds.
We need to look at the president's bank accounts, how the monies are coming in. And of course, also look at the financial statement and the bank accounts of the institution in which he was heading. Details shortly.
You know, I know a lot of people are jealous, but I don't blame them. And I'm not fighting them. And as much as you don't like me, I can understand you. Because if you don't have it at all, and I have it, then you have to ask yourself, how did I get it?
Words of the new force leader Nana Kwame Bediako as he clears doubt about the source of his wealth and his willingness to declare his assets ahead of the presidential elections.
I'm sure that they would definitely want to ask all of these things that is owned by me, and it's fine. It's not in some sort of private room.
But what is the section of the public thinking about his presidential ambition? We'll hear from some of you.
So he being on the ballot paper is allowed. I wouldn't vote for him.
But I like him since he's a younger guy. I think he can do something.
I think we should change the government and see what the country.
And there's an outpouring of gratitude as management and staff of the multimedia group Kickstart 2024 with a prayer and Thanksgiving praise feast. And there's sports.
The quest to end Ghana's 42-year AFCON drought kicks off this weekend as the Black Stars face Cape Verde in their opening match.
This glory has been evasive for 40 plus years, but we are very much committed towards the cause. They will give off 1,000,000%.
You want to stay for details of that and more here on the Midday News. This is your home of independent, fearless and credible journalism. I am Emefa, Apawu. Let's settle down now. And there are growing calls for the reversal of a value-added tax which has been imposed on some categories of residential electricity consumers. In a letter communicating its policy to the Public Utility Regulatory Commission, Minister for Finance Ken Oforiatta says any electricity consumption above lifeline units will attract the value-added levy. The ministry explains that the move forms part of the government's COVID-19 recovery program. Well, this is attracting a lot of backlash. And Joy News data analyst Isaac Kofi joins us with a breakdown of the cost implications. So, Kofi, first, is it clear how this VAT on electricity adds the general revenue target of government? Hello, Kofi.
Can you hear me, Emefa?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear now. So I'm asking whether it's clear how the VAT on electricity adds the general revenue target of government.
Well, Emefa, the exact amounts are known at the moment, but the Joy News research desk understands that the government already told the IMF that it was going to go heavy on the removal of VAT exemptions on certain products and services. And this particular move may be one of them. We also understand government is hoping to get more than 80% of the target revenue for this year from taxes. And VAT is a big component. About 37 billion Ghana cedis will be raised compared to the target of 23.7 billion cedis last year.
Now, let's get an understanding of how much fee a consumer above the lifeline will attract by consuming electricity per unit.
Well, we are still waiting for details from the Ghana Revenue Authority, but as they say, there is no free lunch. Remember, Emefa, that the government recently decided to reduce the lifeline consumer brackets for electricity from 0 to 50% kilowatt hour to 0 to 30 kilowatt hour, and many consumers were priced out of this after enjoying power for free during the heat of the pandemic. And households who enjoyed 50% discount on their bills, during the pandemic, are now paying more, and they would have to pay more as a result of this move.
That's my colleague Kofi J. Minta there. Well, Joy Business has been interacting with the GRA Commissioner and mentions that they are yet to finalize implementation of all these taxes that had been approved by Parliament. Well, former President John Mahama is the latest to add his voice to the growing calls for the reversal of the value-added tax on electricity in particular. The NDC's presidential candidate says the move will only pile up the cost of electricity, which was shot up by a 29% increase. John Mahama says the cost of doing business in Ghana will also become unbearable.
Today, Dumso, they are kicking it like a football. Why? Because he wants to kick it over the 7th January 2025 line and hand the trouble over to somebody else. And yet we resolved it before they came into office. Today, they put value-added tax on electricity bills and COVID levy, NHIL levy, GET fund levy, all on electricity bills. And so that is going to send the cost of your electricity bills up. Already there was a 29% increase, there was a 19% increase, then they tried to fool us with a 4% decrease, and now it's going up again astronomically. And it's making Ghana a very difficult place to do business. All business people are complaining. I mean, the owner of this hotel who has given us this resort to do this meeting, you should ask him how much he's paying in electricity bill. And yet, because of the mismanagement of the president and his cousin and his vice president, it has plunged all of us into a difficult situation where they have pledged to the IMF to raise as much revenue as they can. And the point is, while you are raising revenue, reduce your expenditure. Because that's what any sane, reasonable person does. Because if you reduce your expenditure, you can ease the burden that you're putting on the taxpayer. If they cut down the expenditure of the office of the president, they've doubled it. Year on year, budget went up by 82 billion cedis. And so, if you reduce the...
During those days, the indigents will run into the rocks. They could come there for several days and weeks, as long as...
President, you heard the former President John Dramani Mahama. Sorry about the mix-up there. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Energy is yet to reach a final agreement with two independent power producers on the outstanding energy sector debt treatment. The independent power producers have argued that government owes them some $2 billion. However, Deputy Sector Minister Andrew Ejapamesa says although 4 power producers have agreed on settlement terms, 2 more are outstanding.
We've gone into an agreement with them where ECG pays them $43 million a month to meet their invoices. There's an outstanding obligation, which you may term legacy, with the Ministry of Finance and the Ministry of Energy. The government negotiating team is working to restructure and repay over a period of time. That conversation is far advanced. In fact, we reached agreement, exchange term sheets with a significant number of IPPs. The remaining 2 or so is still ongoing, and we will conclude the discussions and make sure that we bring some sanity in terms of the finances in the energy sector space.
Are we to blame ECG for what we're experiencing, the regulator, or the power suppliers?
I don't think it's a question of blame game. We all know that there are problems in the energy sector, and we are working to resolve them. And so I will not single out one agency and say this is the person to blame or the other. It's a sector under our supervision, and we ought to take full responsibility for everything that happens in there.
That's Deputy Energy Minister Andrew Ejapamesa. Meanwhile, intermittent power outages continue to be witnessed in some parts of the country, even after the assurances by the Deputy Energy Minister that the issue has been resolved. In some part of Cape Coast in the central region, residents have been venting their frustration at constant power cuts in their area.
This place, it is only the evenings that market boom. So in the evening when we are selling and there is no light and this place is dark, you have to pack and go. Because even in the daytime, the thieves are worrying us. So how much more in the evening when you are in the dark? It is worse. At least, if there is a power shortage or there is a fault somewhere, they should alert us so that we will know that this is what is going on. So we will prepare for it. But it shouldn't be like we are there, then they will off the lights. A whole day. Yesterday it came around 8 something. When I went to, my phone was off. If they said it's no doom, so then they have to announce. So that we will be aware.
Me wabra na highlight some de nya kra hwe mitini ho. Mitimi ka se me koye. Me ya koye salon for see my light off.
The electricity issue here in Abra is heartbreaking. Have been unable to visit the salon because of the power outages. As I speak to you now, I'm sweating badly because of the heat. It's been very distressing.
Because light na no mudi ye adwuma ho. Edu anyume so ne e ba beda so no ma say adwuma light. Nti sa ha na de light off na.
Residents in some part of Cape Coast in the central region, away from power, anti-corruption crusader Vitus Azim is calling for a thorough investigation by the special prosecutor into the personal accounts and asset declaration document of the CEO of the National Entrepreneurship and Innovation Program, NEIP, Kofi Ofosun-Kansah. The OSP conducted an unexpected audit of his office, leading to his arrest on allegations of using NEIP funds for his political campaigns. He's since been granted bail as investigations continue. We'll get to hear from Vitus Azim shortly, but first, here are details of the latest revelations on this issue by my colleague Winston Amwa.
The special prosecutors had evidence to the fact that there were transfers from NEIP to delegates in Asante Achim Central. And this is not 500 Ghana cedis. This is thousands of Ghana cedis. So some of the recipients, now this is some of these recipients, actually raised red flags. Then the special prosecutor decided to invite the CEO. When the CEO was invited, what I'm learning is that he was asked why these transfers. He said, oh, these are people who have applied.
Well, my colleague Samuel Imbura joins me in studio with what we've gathered so far from the NAIP office. So what's the boss saying? He's been charged, amongst others. What exactly is happening with him?
So our sources tell us that Mr. Ofosun-Kansah was charged with allegations of allegedly using the NEIP funds to fund his campaigns. However, sources close to him indicate that he was only charged with vote buying. We know he has been, granted bail, and he has denied these allegations, stating that the monies transferred were to beneficiaries under the U-Start pilot project and not delegates. So we understand that other people are also involved in the investigation processes that the OSP is embarking on.
Okay, so this is an Office for Entrepreneurship and Innovation program. What exactly do they do?
NEIP is a key governmental initiative in Ghana designed to offer comprehensive support to startups and small businesses. So it concentrates on delivering business development services, startup incubators, and financial support to foster the growth and success of young businesses, with a focus on generating suitable and sustainable job opportunities for development. So far, its records show that 45,000 plus businesses have been trained, 9,000 plus number of businesses funded, and 92,000 jobs created.
Samuel Imbura there with details of what we know when it comes to this particular case between the NEIP boss and the Office of the Special Prosecutor. Well, there are growing calls for demands for his auditing of his personal accounts and asset declaration document of the NEIP boss. Listen to anti-corruption crusader Vitus Azim.
Let's hope that in this particular case where the Office of the Special Prosecutor is investigating, he can call for the person's asset declaration and then look at it and see if the money that the person is using can be traced to what was already recorded in the asset declaration and to the person's bank accounts and all. You need to look at the person's bank accounts, how the monies are coming in. And of course, also look at the financial statement and the bank accounts of the institution in which he was heading. Because it's easy to trace these things. When you cash a check, the check remains with the bank. And these days, automatically, it also goes to your bank account, shows that you have withdrawn money or paid in money. So I think that if the Office of Special Prosecutor is serious about dealing with this thing, it should be possible to prove whether the person is guilty or not.
And that's Vitus Azim, anti-corruption crusader. Time for election headquarters, brought to you by Petrosol, your clean fuel in full quantity. And since the new force leader was unmasked, Nana Kwame Bediako's possession has become an issue and the source of his wealth. Well, he's been speaking to Joy News about it. He's dispelled uncertainties surrounding his wealth. Nana Kwame Bediako's purchase of approximately 150 billboards to promote his presidential ambition did not only eclipse major political parties, but also ignited speculation about how he paid for them. Addressing the issue head-on, he told my colleague Benjamin Nakakbo on the AM show this morning that he's leveraging both his extensive real estate empire and strategic business partnerships. Listen to him.
There's nothing like I'm hiding the source of my wealth, my brother. It's in your face.
What is it?
It's like, I have some landmarks that you can't miss. Okay? It's there.
I know of number one place.
Okay. There's Quales, there's other buildings, there's zoos, there are things that I'm doing in the country, okay? I'm not saying that I want to hide it. Even if the country turns their back on me and say that, all your things that you did, we don't know where you got the money from, so we're seizing it. What power do I have? But one thing you should remember is that I went from digging the ground by putting the block, putting the concrete. I sweat. I stood in the sun. I built it. I did it. And I want the youth to replicate that. I want the people in Ghana to be doing the same. We always don't have to sit here and watch somebody to come from outside before a building can come up. It would reduce the jealousy. I know a lot of people are jealous, but I don't blame them. And I'm not fighting them. As much as you don't like me, I can understand you. Because if you don't have it at all, and I have it, then you have to ask yourself, how did I get it? Do you understand what I'm saying? And I'm trying to hint you that, wisdom is one of the main things that has acquired my wealth. If really the nation wants to come and find even a pin that you haven't been responsible for, they will find a way. If I was having my political party licenses, I'm sure that they would definitely want to ask all of these things that is owned by me, and it's fine. It's not in some sort of private room that you can't find. It's in your face. You can see it. So the declaration is already there. It's publicly declared.
Mr. Bediako is using a different funding approach for his presidential campaign. Listen.
Mostly and everything is by us, from us now. But I want the nation.
Mostly.
Yes. Mostly, okay? I want the nation to understand that I am coming to you to support me. Just because you haven't seen me ask you, I am coming to ask you to donate, to help me, because I'm changing the narrative of politics in the history of Ghana. Now, why do I think this is changing it? If you look at the Western democratic system, okay, every politician that becomes a leader or a president, he goes to the people. It doesn't matter whether he's a billionaire, he's a business person, or he's poor. He goes to the people and say, please donate, help me to campaign. And the people put $1, $5, whatever dollars they want to contribute to this person. So he has some capital to campaign, because campaign does cost money. Okay, it costs a lot. I might have to sell my building to pay for some billboards and to pay for some buses and to pay for people that.
Well, that's the leader of the new force, Nana Kwame Bediako there. Many of you have been talking about this particular presidential ambition. Let's hear from some of you.
So he being on the ballot paper is allowed. I wouldn't vote for him because my vote is not for him. Being bold enough to come on the ballot paper and requesting to be part of the presidential position is a bold decision, and I think he should go for it. But I don't know what he's bringing on board.
I don't know nothing about him. So for me to vote for him is something, unless maybe I learned a lot about him before voting for him. But I like him since he's a younger guy. I think he can do something.
Looking at him, he's somebody who have enough to do something for the country. Nothing came out. I think we should change the government and see what the country.
I don't necessarily think I would. Not because he's a bad option. We do need a third force in Ghana. We do need someone else who seems to be a good option. I just think the narrative that he pushes surrounding his campaign, surrounding everything is not, it seems to be nationalist, but it seems to be the sort of nationalist that can hurt us in the long run.
The fact that he has been in Kamla or in Maxi, that doesn't disqualify him of not being voted for. And actually, I like the man. He's a young Ghanaian man and he has the ability to. The energy concerning the man is very good too.
Still your election headquarters. I'll take you to the voter region now. And former President John Dramani Mahama has been touting his achievement in the voter region as he promises economic transformation. He's been addressing the voter regional House of Chiefs. My colleague Nanaya Ojima joins us on the line with details. What more are we learning, Nanaya?
So, the meeting was between the voter regional House of Chiefs and the flag bearer of the National Democratic Congress. Now, beginning the meeting, the Tugbe Patamia Gosle is the vice president of the voter regional House of Chiefs, welcomed the former president and the flag bearer of the NDC to the House of Peace. And what he's expecting from him to do is that to continue the constitutional review, which was started by the former NDC government, that is under John Evans Atamils. And what he says is that there are some portions of this constitution that has to be reviewed to ensure that the country gets the needed development that we've been striving for. Also, he spoke about challenges with the environment. He spoke about the possible implication of lithium mining on the environment if not checked. These are part of other issues that he mentioned, and he believes that the next NDC government will have to look at keenly, especially continuing projects that were started by the NDC in the Volta region.
To Volta region than any other party in existence. Anytime NDC has been in office, we have extended electric power to many communities. Many communities would not have had power but for the NDC administration. We built small town water systems in many communities in the Volta region to give them clean drinking water. We've rehabilitated more roads and done more kilometers of roads in the Volta region than any other government in the history of Ghana. We've expanded telecommunications in the Volta region than any other government. And as I was saying to the standing committee, Volta region has the longest piece of the fiber network that we laid. 700 kilometers of fiber from Greater Accra to Upper East. The longest part of it runs through the Volta region. Since NDC left, I can say that all projects in Volta region have stagnated. I've been to the secondary schools, I've been to the hospitals, I've been to many places. Communities that were waiting for electricity, the wires are there, the poles are there, nothing is being done.
Former President John Dramani Mahama there speaking to the Volta Regional House of Chiefs in the Volta region, taking us on a quick break here on the Midday News, live on Joy 99.7 FM in Accra, in Kumasi on Love 99.5 FM and affiliates across Ghana's 16 regions. Proudly brought to you by Petrosol, your clean fuel in full quantity. Petrosol, always a delightful experience. Also brought to you by Duraplus Ghana Limited, producers of quality PVC and HDPE pipes and water tank. Where Duraplus goes, water always flows. We'll return from the break with sport, and there's been an outpouring of gratitude as management and staff of the multimedia group kickstart 2024 with a prayer and thanksgiving feast at the Victory Bible Church International. And then much later, we'll take you to Wuling, a community in the Upper West region where residents used rocks and caves as protection against slave raiders in the 16th and 17th centuries.
During those days, the indigents will run into the rocks. They could come there for several days and weeks as long as the raids continued.
When budgets are tight and money difficult to come by, you want to be sure you get the best value for your money. These are not times to be spending money fixing expensive engine problems because of cheap fuel and lubricants. Drive to a Petrosol station today and buy your quality fuel and lubricants, and rest assured of fuel that lasts long and lubricants that prevent expensive engine problems. Hear the sound. Petrosol, clean fuel in full quantity.
This is the Midday News on Joy 99.7 FM. Time for sports, and we're AFCON ready. Mubarak.
Yep, Emefa. The AFCON begins tomorrow with host nation Ivory Coast taking on Guinea-Bissau in the opening match. The Black Stars will be in action on Sunday against Cape Verde in a Group B encounter at 8 p.m. The target is to start the tournament on a good note and emerge as eventual champions. Here's Ghana FA President Keto Kreku.
This glory has been evasive for 40 plus years, but we are very much committed towards the cause. They will give off 1,000,000% on the pitch, and hopefully the Almighty God will bless their big efforts in this enterprise and bring us the joy and love we all been looking for. So on behalf of the team, the captain, the leadership, the head coach, and everybody, we thank you, and we'll be looking forward to seeing you at all the games beginning Sunday till we leave the trophy on the last day of the tournament.
That's GFA President Keto Kreko, and we wish the Black Stars the very best of luck on Sunday.
We're bringing the cap home, that's definite. Now, the Multimedia Group, in collaboration with the United States Agency for Global Media, is starting a series of community showing of Joy News Poison for Gold documentary produced by award-winning journalist Erastus Asaridonko with Samra Boy in the Western region this weekend. Thankfully, Erastus joins me on the line with details of what to expect. Erastus, walk us through it.
Well, so we have arranged the place. It's the Forest Club in Samra. The excitement in town about this program is huge. There are also those who feel that our showing of the documentary and the community engagement is going to affect their Galamsey business, and so they are also propagating information for people to stop coming. But indeed, the excitement is huge, and we are looking forward for a fruitful engagement at 3 p.m. today.
A bravo work that you are doing. We are so great. We've been watching the Poison for Gold on our televisions. Everybody is so. It is very good thing that we've been looking for opportunities like this. Someone, brother chief and the people are so impressed. Last I was with the chief discussing this topic with him, and they applauded the idea. So we are very happy, and we should continue to do more for.
Well, and it's been a day of gratitude and outpouring of gratitude by management and staff of the Multimedia Group. We've kickstarted 2024 with a prayer and Thanksgiving praise feast. The Multimedia family is thanking God for his mercies and seeking his face for the fulfilling year. Now, Prophet Gideon Danso of the Empowerment Worship Center has been leading at the Feast of Praise.
Seen anything yet? You believe that? Come on, look at Multimedia. Say 29 years. We haven't seen anything yet. I don't know what you think you are and what you possess, but you haven't seen anything yet. I want to speak over you prophetically. There is more in God. There are realms in God. There are places in God that you haven't seen yet. You are now.
And that's 29 years of being thankful to God. Multimedia Group. Now I'll take you to the Upper West region, where the rocks and caves that ruling a community in the region continue to serve as a big attraction of tourists. We are focusing on that for Joy FM or Joy Prime Explore this Saturday at 6:30 p.m. Maxwell Agbagba was in the region. Here are excerpts.
I am on an early morning journey to Drapa in the Upper West region. I will explore the Royal Cozy Hills Hotel, which has become a big magnet attracting people from all walks of life. First up, Wooling, to see the mushroom rocks and caves standing at 2.2 meters. These natural formations served as hiding places during the 16th and 17th century slave raids. Our tour guide Aziz Popu has details.
So in this community you find several rocks with different shapes, very magnificent. One of them is this one, naturally shaped in the form of a mushroom or an umbrella. The locals named it the mushroom rock because the mushrooms are indigenous to this place.
So you can actually find mushrooms here?
Oh yes, we have the adjoining caves where the indigents or the locals took shelter during tribal wars or slave raids. You know, most of the slave raids took place around this area.
Okay.
They captured a lot of people here and turned them into slaves.
You don't want to miss Joy Prime Explore. We're coming to you live from Jirapa. It's this Saturday at 6:30 p.m. with Maxwell and Well, and Max and Jackie, they are in the studios.
Yeah.
And I'm told it's a Violence Friday. What's going on?
In fact, on a day, Sarkodie, Young L, Vadman, and then who?
Ice Prince
released a song called
Violence. It's not violence, violence.
There's serious violence brewing on Twitter right now.
And it's a slippery
it's very slippery there. If you're there, you have to walk on eggshells. Now let me give you the background. So GTV Ghana posted on Facebook. Why pay for something you can get for free? AFCON 24. And then DSTV came to post on Facebook. Don't get it twisted. Don't be deceived. We've got the best of everything when it comes to AFCON 2023. Don't settle for terrible picture quality, poor sound, or anything below standard. DSTV Ghana has got you covered. And then GTV Ghana came back. Bad weather and satellite TV. If you know, you know. AFCON 2023. Now, DSTV Ghana has posted the same message they posted. What I read earlier. They posted it again like 20 minutes ago.
As for the GTV admin.
So then a lot of people are asking the question, who is showing the AFCON? That's the question that people are asking. But Sarkodie released a song today, Violence. You know, last year he released a song, Try Me, which was like jabs to Yvonne Nelson. Now, this song that he has released, apparently people are saying that he's also released the same jabs to Yvonne Nelson. So people are saying that he should let Yvonne Nelson rest.
There's a line in that song.
Yes.
It says, girl, Nimbua di Intina, but didn't set the example.
Yeah.
On that note,
but we don't know who he's talking about.
Okay, that's it. Max and Jackie out of here, and that's how we end today's edition of the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. Violence Friday, they say, but there's no violence right here. There's more when you log on to myjoyonline.com. Living Word with Pastor Mensa Otabil is up next. God is good, part 2. I am Emefa Apawu. Enjoy your weekend. Have a good afternoon.